How should you build a team in HSR? And what do each of the paths mean? If you're new to Honkai Star Rail, this may be a little confusing at first, but in this video, I'll break down each path, give you a better understanding of what they do, and give you some ideas on how to construct a team. What's up? I'm Nick_Rel, and I break down HSR mechanics to help you better optimize your gameplay. There's currently 7 playable paths in Honkai Star Rail, with even more paths sprinkled throughout the lore. All of these paths originate from an Eon and represent certain values or ideals that are reflected within the character abilities. Each of these paths has certain strengths that you can utilize within team comps, and too much or too little of something could make your life much more difficult. I like to organize these paths into 3 groups, including damage dealers, buffers and debuffers, and sustains. Let's take a look at the damage dealers first. Within the damage dealing category, we have the Hunt, Destruction, and Erudition. This isn't to say that other characters can't deal damage, but characters of these paths are built to do so. However, each of these paths has different ways that it excels at dealing damage. Hunt characters are single target damage dealers. These characters excel at attacking one opponent at a time, and typically contain some type of mechanic that allows them to boost their own damage or increase the frequency of their attacks. After 4-star character Su Shang uses her ultimate, she's immediately able to launch another attack. And 5-star character Seal is able to launch another attack after eliminations with her basic, skill, or ultimate. Erudition characters are AoE damage dealers, meaning that they excel at dealing damage to multiple targets at once. As a trade-off, they don't do so well in single target situations. And although it's not exclusive to Erudition, many of these characters have a follow-up mechanic, another way that they deal damage to the field of enemies. 4-star character Herta can attack the entire field of enemies with her skill and ultimate, and after an enemy's health drops below 50%, she launches a follow-up attack dealing damage to all the enemies on the field. 5-star character Himiko can attack up to 3 enemies with her skill, all enemies with her ultimate, and after your team breaks enemy weakness 3 times, Himiko launches her follow-up attack which deals damage to the entire enemy team. Destruction characters fit somewhere in between these 2 paths, typically having abilities to focus a single target or multiple targets, but this tends to come at a cost as destruction characters are more likely to pull aggro, and some sacrifice their own HP for increased damage. 4-star character Arlen consumes 15% of his HP in order to activate his skill, while 5-star character Blade consumes 30% of his max HP in order to utilize his skill's buff state. Generally speaking, you should always have at least one of these damage dealing types in your team comp at all times. Next up, let's talk about the buffers and debuffers category. This group consists of Harmony and Nihility characters, both of which serve as supports, but in very different ways. Harmony characters are used to give your team various buffs. Depending on the unit, you could see increases to your team's damage, speed, or energy regeneration. 4-star character Ting Yun uses her skill to buff your team's attack, and her ultimate to regenerate energy for one of your allies. Similarly, 5-star character Bronya can increase one ally's damage with her skill, and increases the entire team's attack and crit damage with her ultimate. Nihility characters can be equally as valuable, but they work in a polar opposite way to Harmony characters. Rather than buffing your allies, Nihility characters specialize in applying debuffs to the enemies, and depending on the character's element, their primary debuffs can look and act completely different. 4-star Wind character Sampo has the opportunity to apply Wind Shear when attacking the enemies. Wind Shear is a DOT debuff that deals additional wind damage at the start of the enemy's turn, whereas 5-star Imaginary character Welt can imprison enemies with his ultimate. When an enemy becomes imprisoned, their actions are delayed and their speed is reduced. Including a Harmony or Nihility character within your team comps is a great way to add utility and make your teams more dynamic. Last, but certainly not least, we have our sustain units. This grouping consists of Preservation and Abundance. Both of these paths specialize in keeping you in the fight, but do so in very different manners. The Preservation path specializes in providing shields and directing the enemy's aggro. That is to say, influencing which characters are attacked by the enemies. 4-star character Mark 7 can utilize her skill to grant one ally a shield, where 5-star character Depart can use his ultimate to grant shields to the entire team. And pretty cut and dry, Abundance characters are the healers of the game. At their core, this path is best used to restore your character's HP. 4-star character Natasha heals a single ally with her skill and provides AoE healing for the team with her ultimate. 5-star character Bailu can select one ally to heal with her skill, but this skill will proc an additional 2 times at random, and her ultimate also provides AoE healing for the team. Keeping some type of sustain unit in your team comp is critical to your team's survivability. I would recommend keeping at least one in your team at all times. It's important to understand that each character is much more nuanced than these descriptions, but this should serve to give you a general baseline understanding. And the same could be said when it comes to creating team comps. But as a good place to start, I recommend keeping at least one unit from each of these categories in your team at all times, including at least one damage dealer, one buffer or debuffer, and one sustain is a great base to a successful team. As the game continues to expand, we'll surely see a wider variety in how team comps are constructed, but I hope this helped to kickstart you on your HSR journey. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be appreciated, and leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite team comp is in HSR. I'm Nick Sauerel, and I'll see you in the next video.